All right. The lighting in here is weird. Holloway versus Cater was the fight of the night, and Lee and Alessio, they won the $50,000.
Dana, ABC debut in the books. Can't imagine you could dial it up much better for a network television debut.
No, it was incredible. You couldn't script it better. It was a good night. Really happy. A little drained, you know. It's funny, I was telling my guys tonight, you know, as successful as we've been and all the things that we've accomplished over the last 20 years and just coming through the pandemic and all this shit, you still sweat the, you know. I grew up on ABC's Wide World of Sports, and, you know, tonight was a big deal for us. So to be able to deliver the way, and so if we would have went over tonight, if the fights went long, and we went over, they would have shut us off. It wouldn't have just spilled over because it goes into the local news. So we had to be off. We got off at 57. I mean, it just, the whole thing couldn't play out any more perfect than it did.
That's awesome. You know, going in, it was just a one-time thing, right? I mean, we weren't sure what the future is. Have you talked to network execs? I mean, have they said anything like, hey, that was amazing, let's do this again real soon?
Well, I mean, it just got over, no. But, you know, they wanted us, and we said, awesome, let's do this, and it was pretty damn good. So I told the guys when they weighed in the other day, and when I did the fighter meeting, when this thing lined up, when ABC asked for a fight, and the dates were lining up, and this was the card that was lining up, I was like, thank God. I knew this card was going to be good.
It did, start to finish.
The main card,
yeah,
the prelims were...
Main card was good, though.
Yeah.
And, of course, the main event was incredible. Can you talk about, you know, Max Holloway, guy looking, I mean, as good as he ever has. What do you think about his performance tonight? Yeah,
it's, you know, I think that people keep doubting Max and thinking, you know, is old Max going to show up? You know, the guy who's lost the step and all this. And he just doesn't. A lot of people whom we all respect and know a lot about this sport picked Cater to win tonight. And and let's give Cater the respect he deserves too. You know, it takes two to make a great fight, and, you know, incredible.
What'd you make in the fifth round? He's talking to the commentary team and slipping punches at the same time. I mean, what do you make of something like that?
He's fun, man. Holloway's fun. What's crazy is, too, you know, I haven't talked to Max about this. I don't know if this is 100% true, but I was hearing that he didn't even spar for this camp. So to not spar for this camp and come out and perform the way that he did is pretty impressive.
Traditionally, when you go 0-2 against a champion, it's tough to get that third fight, right? I mean, we've seen that throughout history. But, man, the way the guy looked tonight, if Volkanovski, I know we still got to do Volkanovski-Ortega, but if Volkanovski were to win, would you at least consider Max for a third fight the way he looked tonight?
I think we have to. I mean, when you're the champion, you have the top 5 guys in the world gunning at you, right? When you're the #1 contender in the world, you got the top 10 guys in the world. And sometimes number 8 is more dangerous than number 3. Tonight he fought a bad dude that a lot of people thought was going to beat him, and he went out and treated him like number 6. So he did what he needed to do in spectacular fashion tonight, and I think that he deserves to fight Volkanovski again.
Yeah, fantastic. The Khabib news was revealed tonight, right? It's funny. You said it was going to be yes or no, and it ends up being a maybe, more or less, right?
Yeah.
So what was your feel walking away? I mean, I know you were hoping for a definitive answer. I guess it's not a no, but what's your feel?
Yeah, and I don't think it was a maybe. I think that, you know, the thing is with him is when you make the decision to retire, you know, I knew that he made the decision under unbelievable emotional stress, and you know, his dad died. He got hurt during that camp, couldn't even train right, couldn't cut weight right. I mean, all the things that he went through, and then went out and performed the way that he performed, and then made that decision that night. He said, listen, you're not tying anything up, just go home, spend some time with your family, heal up, think about it. And then he and I got together, and he's like, I want to see if somebody really blows me away and impresses me. next week. You got the co-main event and the main event, and obviously Oliveira looked awesome against Tony Ferguson. So that's an interesting fight to him. And we'll see what these guys do this weekend. And I think it's fun. The last thing, I saw a lot of people bitching, oh, he always says he lets people retire and all that shit. What do you guys not want to see fucking Khabib fight again? Holy shit. The friggin' drama fucking queens that follow this sport are unbelievable, but I don't. So hopefully he sticks around and does one more.
Nice. Last thing for me, and I guess just to kind of clarify on that, so really all 5 of those guys are in play, as you mentioned, the main, the co-main, Oliveira, and you'll just let him pick it and say, that's the one I want?
To him, he wants to see everybody. He wants to see all these guys fight. He wants to, already said Oliveira looked awesome. That guy looked great. And felt like, he deserves a shot at the title. Let's see what everybody brings next weekend.
Hey, Dana. I know it literally just happened and you have to sort of let these things play out, but was Max's performance tonight possibly the best we've ever seen? I mean, he got a 50-42 scorecard. He landed more strikes or he threw more strikes ever. Could that have been the best performance we've seen?
He looked incredible, and I see a lot of people. Rogan did a nice write-up on him, posted on social media. The best he's ever looked. He looked incredible tonight, but I thought he looked unbelievable against Aldo. He's had some performances that he looked completely dominant and really just, finished the fight and everything else. He looked amazing tonight, but I don't know if I'd call this his best performance ever, but it's up there. It's one of them.
He shouted it in the cage. Do you think he's the best boxer in the UFC?
The best boxer?
Yeah.
He's one of the all-time greats, period, fighting. One of the all-time greats.
Is Khabib going to be there to watch the Conor-Dustin fight?
No. He's cornering on Wednesday, and then he leaves. So he leaves and goes to Vegas. So I will have the fight and fly home on Sunday, and I'll see him again in Vegas. So those fights will have played out. He and I are going to hook up and go to dinner in Vegas and talk again, and we'll make a decision. And the one thing that he did say is, I'll never hold up the division. Whoever's next, if I decide I don't want to fight any of these guys, whoever's next is next.
So will that meeting be a yes or no meeting?
Yeah.
Cool.
No, he just said he won't hold up the division.
Okay.
So he's either going to fight somebody or he's going to walk away.
Thanks, Dan.
Going off of what you said, that Max has had a lot of great performances. He's also had a lot of iconic moments, like pointing at the ground against Lamas, like teaching Brian Ortega how to block in the middle of a fight. Basically, Roy Jones and Calvin in there. Is Max the coolest fighter in UFC history?
He's one of them for sure. Yeah. It's funny when you say that about Max, and it's so true. Khabib was telling me when I was with him last night that, and I didn't know this, maybe you guys knew this, but all the stuff that him and Gaethje were talking about during that fight. He told me last night that he's never been hit or kicked harder ever in a fight than by Gaethje. And Gaethje hit him with a couple of shots, and then he thought Gaethje looked kind of weird, and he pointed at him and said, "You have jet lag," in the middle of the fight. Gaethje said, "No, I don't," and hit him with an uppercut and a left hook, he said. And then Khabib said something to him again, and he leg kicked him. And then I guess when he took him down, when Khabib took him down and was on top of him, he said, "Now what are you going to do?" And he said, he's telling me all this shit that those two were talking about during the fight. First of all, the fight didn't even go that long. I didn't know how they would have that much of a conversation. But, yeah, and, Holloway's one of those guys, too.
Max said he would even throw his name in to replace Conor Dustin if something happened. Would you?
Yeah, I think he deserves to go home and take some time off. I respect it, but yeah, no, we're good. We're covered.
There were 3 other finishes on the main card. What did you think of Puna, Li Zhiliang, and Alessio Di Chirico on the main card?
Yeah, I mean, the whole main card was great. It was a great card. Everybody came out and performed. Listen, you get the platform to be on network television on ABC. Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, the list goes on and on of all the greats that have fought on ABC and other great athletes that have played on Wide World of Sports or whatever it may be. And you get this opportunity. And I think everybody made the most of the opportunity tonight.
Did you watch the Felipe Tafa fight on the prelims too?
Yep.
Forehead to forehead. What'd you make of that?
Yep.
That fight.
Tough. Yeah, those guys were rock solid chins and, throwing bombs.
And then finally, Carlos Condit said this was the last fight on his contract. You're going to have to sit down with him and hopefully bring him back to the UFC.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Listen, I love Carlos. That's why Carlos is still here. He's one of the all-time greats and one of the OGs around here.
Obviously, it's up to Khabib to decide if he's impressed or not, but will you bring up Max Holloway option the next time you talk to him, given that they were scheduled to fight before?
No, I like him. Max is at 45. I for a long time, I thought Max was a big 45-pounder till he moved up to 55. And I said, oh, shit, he's not as big as I thought he was. I like him at 45, especially after tonight's performance.
You spoke briefly to Kevin Kattar on his way from the cage. What did you say to each other?
To who?
Calvin Kattar.
Oh, I was just telling him what an incredible performance it was. I had gone over to his corner because I thought the fight should have been stopped in the 4th round. And I was freaking out a little bit. I said, he's not going to stop and talk to anybody. We're going to take him straight to the ambulance and send him to the hospital. So then I went over to him and I said, you're so tough. What an unbelievable performance. And he said, that's not what I want to be known for. And he goes, but I'm not going to back down to anybody. And I said, we're going to send you straight to the hospital right now. I don't want you talking to anybody or doing anything. And then he started laughing and thought that was funny. So he's in good spirits. His head was clear. And, our interaction made me feel better. And all's good. I'm hearing everything's good so far. So those kind of fights freak me out.
Dana.
Go ahead.
Dana, so many good fights tonight,
Hey,
mate.
buddy.
So many possible fight of the nights as well, right? But I think what we all want to know is, does Bruce Buffer's fly get 50K? No?
No.
What did you make to having the fans back in the atmosphere tonight?
You know what? It's funny you say that because not the fans, but the fans were fucking awesome, right? What was there in here? 1,000 people? 2,000? They were awesome. We talked about this leading up to this, and you're like, people were asking me, what do you think about the fans? And when I said, I don't know, ask me after, and let's see how. I can't wait to have the fans back. They were awesome tonight, man. They had so much energy, and it sounded like there were more than 2,000 people. But we're going on ABC tonight, and all right, I'm going to tell you all this shit. All right, so we're going on ABC tonight, and the Fly attacks Bruce Buffer at the beginning of the thing. Prelims were, and I don't know if any of you noticed this, but we didn't do a show open in-house. We fucked up and completely didn't do a show open. So I'm freaking out, screaming at everybody. 20 fucking years we do show opens. There's fans in the arena. What happened after that? Then the mouthpiece falls out and goes in the fucking crack in the octagon during the ABC fight. And I'm sitting there going, what the fuck is going to happen next, man? This is good. So the beginning of the show was a bit rocky, and I was getting freaked out. And then everything just caught its stride, and we got back on. Have you guys ever seen a mouthpiece come out and fall down the crack in the octagon and the ref can't reach it? In the middle of a fight where somebody's about to get finished and we have to wait, so I don't know how you talked about the Fly, yeah. So that's how we ended up here. But yeah, it was a weird beginning to the night, but it all came together.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Dana, to your right.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Just curious, during the conversation with Khabib, did GSP's name ever come up, or even possibly going up to 170 and being a champ?
No, GSP never came up. He's not interested in that fight. And from what I hear today after that, neither is GSP. So that's over.
How many more fans do you anticipate having in the crowd for Conor McGregor? Because it is a Conor McGregor fight.
I think the same. I think it's going to be the same. I think it's actually most of the same people, too. I think they sold packages for all 3 fights.
Congratulations.
Thanks, buddy.
Dana, back here.
Hi.
All the way back here. Sorry.
Hi.
There you go. So this is the 9th time that Holloway fights as a main event. Do you think now he deserves a break, or are you gonna schedule him again as a main event in a couple of months?
Holloway?
Yeah.
No, I think what we do now is you let Holloway have some time off until he could possibly fight for the title again. I don't know if that'll be too long or whatever, but we'll figure it out.
And I have a couple of questions about the 10th anniversary of Anderson Silva versus Vitor Belfort fight.
Yeah.
How important was that fight for the growth of the relationship of UFC in Brazil?
Brazil's always been a hotbed. You know, there's so many stars and so many world champions that have come out of Brazil, not only in the UFC, but Pride and a lot of other organizations. I think that fight, there was always this mystique around Vitor Belfort, you know? And even Anderson Silva, when he became a champion, Anderson didn't really sell at first and had never really blown up to be that big of a... He was doing incredible things. But the night that he kicked Vitor Belfort in the face, the whole thing blew up, and he became a huge star, and it definitely ignited Brazil. But, you know, Brazil's been so big for so long anyway.
And my last question is, do you have any fighter, Brazilian fighter, or a match in mind that could just in the future be as big as that one and maybe return and explode the MMA in Brazil?
No, not off the top of my head, but it's there. It's coming. I mean, it's going to happen. There's just too much talent in Brazil. There's so much talent. Somebody's going to come up the ranks, and we'll have another big superstar out of Brazil for sure.
And just a quick one for me. What did you think of the Dietricho Buckley knockout?
Yeah, it was awesome and completely, you know, head kick and yeah. I mean, I don't know what you're looking for.
I mean, no, I'm just curious. It kind of shows the craziness of the sport, right? He's coming
100%.
off a crazy head kick of his own, and then that happens to him against a guy who's on a 3-fight losing skid.
Yeah, 100%. And at the, you guys, I mean, I was going to tell you, you guys are there sitting right in the front row, but, you know, Buckley said, "You said you're not scared of me, you better be scared of me." And, you know, was really trying to get into his head at the stare downs. And then, boom. I just found out that kid was mad. Did you guys talk to him?
He wouldn't talk to us.
He
said that because we don't interview losers, we only interview the winners. So he's like, we should be...
I just heard that. Craziest shit I ever heard. I saw him in the back, and I walked by him and his team. I was like, "Hey, congratulations." And they looked at me like, "The fuck you want?" Seriously, they literally looked at me like, you know, like they lost. And I looked at Brian and I said, "Man, that's an unhappy crew, huh? What the hell's wrong with them?" Apparently they didn't know they won.
Dang.
Yeah.
And just one more. You talk about Max deserving a fight with Volkanovski again, assuming he wins. Do you think that's going to be a challenging conversation with Alex to maybe get him on board with that fight? Because it seems like his frustration towards that is kind of growing, and he doesn't even want to hear about Max's name at this point.
I don't know. I mean, listen, he's got this Ortega fight coming up, and I think, you know, for a guy like him to watch this fight tonight when he's the #1 contender. And like I said to you guys tonight, a lot of people whom I respect thought Calvin Kattar was going to win this fight tonight. And the way they looked, Volkanovski can't even deny that Max deserves another shot.
And speaking of that Volkanovski-Ortega fight, along with the report of that coming out today, there was some talk of maybe Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou being the main event for that March 27th card. Where do we stand on that?
Is it March 27th? Is it done? You did it. Congrats.
Oh, there we go. Thanks, Dana.
Yep.
Hey, Dylan, just a quick one. The experience of having the fans there tonight, that hasn't changed your mind on full arenas only?
No, it hasn't.
Cool.
Because let me tell you what, you aren't going to go everywhere and get 2,000 fans in a big arena like this and have it sound like that. This crew that was here tonight was amazing. These people were awesome. I don't know where these guys are from, if they're from Abu Dhabi or other places, but I look forward to seeing them again on Wednesday and Saturday. It was awesome.
Dana, just wondering if you gauge Khabib's interest in McGregor out of all of those people, because obviously he's been quite vocal in that he feels that McGregor had to get fights to get back to him. How special do you think it is he considers who is number 30 given his father's wishes?
What's the question?
Did
I
you
heard
gauge-
most of the things you said, but I don't hear really well, so sometimes I got to tell
It's
me.
the British accent, probably.
That doesn't help.
Did you gauge Khabib's interest in McGregor out of all of those people that he mentioned? I wonder how special he wants the opponent to be for the magical number 30.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he knows what he's going to be looking for. Listen, Conor said he's going to blow everybody's minds on Saturday. So that's true, and he does that in spectacular fashion because we all know Poirier is not the same guy that he fought the first time. So if he can come out and you can say whatever you want, Conor McGregor versus Khabib, the rematch is a massive fight, you know? And if Conor should win in spectacular fashion, it would even be hard to say that he doesn't deserve the shot.
We was also going to have Leon Edwards and Khamzat Chimaev over here. Unfortunately, fell through again, 8 weeks away now.
Yeah.
How much pressure was on you to change that? Because it seems there was a lot of guys chomping at the bit to fill in the void, but you stayed true to the fight.
Yeah, I think for both of those guys, it's a great fight. It's a fight that people want to see, and I think it's going to be a good fight. So, I could take some guys in that division that are ranked higher than Khamzat for Leon, but I don't think it draws as much attention and as many people care as they do about this fight. So for both guys, I think obviously for Khamzat, he gets to break into the top 5 with a win over Edwards, and for Edwards, this is a big name fight for a guy who's only had 3 fights in the UFC.
Awesome.
Dana, what did you make of Li Jingliang's stoppage of Santiago Ponzinio?
What did I think of the stop?
Yeah, I said, what did you make of the win for Li in general?
Huge. It's huge for Li. Ponzinibio's been on a tear. He's been off for a couple of years, which is always dangerous to do. That was a legit finish, and I thought that the ref did a great job in that fight too. It was a great stoppage. Because Ponzinibio was unhappy about the stoppage.
And given Ponzinibio's win streak before, obviously, the hiatus, where do you think that this puts Jingliang?
Where does this put?
Where do you think it puts him in terms of the division?
Who? Ponzinibio?
No.
Li?
Yeah.
Oh, Lee's ranked now. I mean, he's this was a big win for him tonight. This was everything for him. Yeah, it was a big night.
Dana, how you doing?
Hi.
Was there one moment that stood out for having the fans back that you thought, it's not the full capacity, but this is worth having 2,000 people in here?
Well, there were a few times actually. During the Condit Brown fight, I can't remember which guy did it, but Condit or Brown, they were on the ground, and one of them flipped them over and got the top position, and the crowd went crazy. Just little things like that make fights fun. And during the fight, they were chanting Holloway, Holloway, and it's been like a year for us since we've had fans. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been getting comfortable and lazy with just driving over from the office and walking in with, jeans and a t-shirt on and watching the fights. But it was very, very cool to have fans back. And like I said before, this is the same crew that's coming all week. We're in for a fun week. I mean, you can imagine how they sounded tonight. Imagine when Conor and Poirier walk out on Saturday. It's going to be fun.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.